Welcome to Mysterious Creatures with Forrest Galante. I'm your host, Emma.
And I'm Aggie. In this amazing episode, Forrest heads off to Missouri in search of the Ozark Howler. Many believe this mythical creature may live in a cave since Missouri is littered with over 8,000 caves, some of which are still unexplored. The Ozark Howler is reported to have the tail of cat, the body of dog, and stands 9 feet. It is dubbed the Ozark Howler because of its cry that is said to be the combo of a wolf howl and elk bugle with it ending as a woman's scream. Forrest starts the show talking to a retired game official who talks a little about the creature and points Forrest and his wife to talk to a hunter, Andy Free, who reportedly has seen the howler on 3 occasions. After meeting Free, he describes his first encounter. At first, he heard some rustling in the bushes and though it was a deer. Then there was a pungent, putrid musky smell. Forrest says that many species let off a musky smell from beavers to sperm whales and it varies with the species. The smell is released because of stress.
After hearing Andy's amazing story, the 3 mount horses to travel to the place where Andy reportedly saw the beast. The location is very remote, only accessible by game trails, and while trekking the horses become nervous and start whinnying. They finally make it to the location and Forrest and his wife set up trail cams and animal traps to be able to find or capture this elusive howler. Andy then states he doesn't like being there and becomes all nervous-like. Forrest says he is skeptical about Andy's encounter, but wants to know what it is that he saw. Andy then tells the tale of his second encounter. While deer hunting, he smelt the same nauseating smell, but this time he saw the beast and it wasn't Bigfoot or the skunk ape. The smell was nauseating. And while staring it down, it howled again. He tells Forrest that he will take him and his crew, in the morning, to the 3rd location. Forrest and his wife begin to case out the area in the dark and she notices something move under a log. Upon checking it out, it became apparent it was a Cottonmouth Snake, also known as a water moccasin, and Forrest decides to go after it. So cool. The horses begin whinnying again. Forrest says it's a good thing they do this, because they will be an alarm if something is wrong.
Before leaving the morning, Forrest checks out the animal traps and find an opossum in one of them. Possum belly pie, anyone? Possums live approximately 18 months and have more teeth than any other mammal on the planet. Or are possums marsupials because they have pouches? They are considered marsupial mammals. Other marsupials are Tasmanian devils, kangaroos, koalas, wombats, wallabies, bandicoots, and the extinct thylacine. 70% of marsupials are found in Australia while 30% are found in the Americas, primarily in South America, 13 in Central America, and 1 species, the Virginia opossum, in North America, north of Mexico. Forrest releases him back into the woods. The crew then packs it all in and heads off to the 3rd spot. Since there are no tails, they cannot ride the horses to the location. Instead, they walk to a cave. Andy says the putrid smell was there again before his encounter. He saw eyes and heard the howl again. He got chills and high-tailed it out of the cave. He was done with the howler and is still scared to go into the cave.
There are over 7,000 cave systems in Missouri. One was made famous by Tom Sawyer getting lost in a cave while Joe was after him and Becky. While inside the cave, they find a bed of a giant short-faced bear, which became extinct over 15,000 years ago. They find raccoon tracks inside the cave, but nothing extraordinary. They head up on to the location for the 3rd encounter ere he smelt the smell. Can you smell the smell? Oh, that smell. They find claw marks that are large on the walls and ground. Then they find a mitten site, which is basically a pile of bones where animals have been dragged into a site to be eaten by an apex predator. In this site they discover deer bones and other animals. They then have to spelunk towards another exit since it's a 2-way cave. While walking out of the cave they smell something rancid. Like the smell of death. Forrest sees a dead deer. It wasn't killed by another species, and it was there for hours. Forrest said there appears to be no big predator to eat off it. It is an unbalanced ecosystem with the lack of an apex predator.
The couple use foldable canoes to take to the river. Wow, that is cool. They check the river banks for tracks and only see raccoon and deer tracks. Forrest then discovers a musk turtle. So cute. While traveling up through the river, they do not discover any predators. So they decide to head back up to camp. The horses are nervous. So they walk to see if they can find what is making the horses nervous.
They discover it's a black bear, which begins to chase them. Black bears are more likely to attack than a brown bear, and they mostly attack to protect its territory or youngings. They get back to camp and collect all the memory cards before the rain set in. They check the video footage and all see the opossum and some turkey vultures. Forrest believes the main apex predator from the area is missing. The next day, Forrest sees a home and wants to talk to owner about the howler. He goes up to the home and gets a gun pulled on him. Now this is part of the show I didn't like. He's a moonshiner, come on. First, the guy is shoving a shotgun in Forrest's face, wanting to know if he's a revenuer or an IRS agent. He's got itchy fingers. Instead of telling him to skedaddle and keep on moving, he invites them into the house and tells them he's a moonshiner. As long as they don't reveal his location, it's okay. However, he lets them show his face. Come on. We all know he wants to be on the next season of Moonshiners.
Yeah, that was dumb. So they all sit down and the moonshiner starts talking about his private stock and the flavors. Everyone is sampling the products. First it was like, skedaddle, I got itchy fingers, to singing Kumbaya over moonshine. Then moonshine talks starts moves to the howler. The moonshiner says it gets embellished and moonshiners make the sounds to scare off narcs, revenuers, IRS agents and nosy TV crews. He shows them some of his growlers to make noise. A barrel with a wood board, it can make a cat howl to a wolf's howl. He then makes an audible howl. Forrest records it to send to Andy. Moondog Rex says the howler is real and his granddaddy shot one. He then brings out the hide and skull. It appears to be a fox, but Forrest believes it is a red wolf which is near extinction. No fewer than 20 are left in the wild and only 245 are known to exist. Then they go off to a wolf sanctuary that is working to preserve red wolves.
At the sanctuary, it's feeding time. They say the wolves keep things in balance. They bring in Andy. They have a distinctive putrid musk smell. Andy says the smell is the same that he smelled the 3 times previously, heavy and thick with a near-death hint of fragrance. They play a howler sound to see how the wolves react, with no response. They then plays the moonshiner Rex howl and oddly enough get a response. They thank Andy, send him on his way, while Forrest gets to help the wolf puppies, giving vaccines. Later the sanctuary analyzes the hair and tissue that were collected at Moonshiner Rex's house. They conclude the medulla matches with canine. Forrest believes it's the red wolf. That will do it for this week. Please come back next week for more exciting mysterious creatures. I'm Emma Watson.
And I'm Aggie Flores. You know, Maine has its own howler. My cousins and I looked into this. It appeared to be a Bigfoot species the Algonquin people believe live in Maine and Canada. They steal fish, howl, whistle and take children. It is known as the Medibump howler or Pamula, translated by Maine's early woodsman. This giant ape-like creature stands 6 to 8 feet tall, is covered with black or reddish hair, and may emit an odor of rotten eggs. Speaking of that, Keith will be in Marionville, Pennsylvania in June for the Bigfoot Festival. Thank you again. I'm Aggie Flores. I hope to see you next week.
Thank you for watching. As always, please subscribe to our channel. Please like, comment, subscribe and share. See you next week.